Alright everybody, welcome in. My name's Joe and it's time for some chess. So we get an e-pawn game. Alright, let's see how this goes. We're looking at a traditional opening, possibly an Italian or Ruy Lopez. And we're in the Ruy Lopez. So this is the line that I like to play from the Ruy Lopez. It's the Morphy defense. The idea being that we are going to figure out what our opponent's going to do. In this case, he's not going to take, and that's okay. Now I'm going to develop with tempo. The goal being that I'm going to get developed as quickly as possible. At some point, I am going to have to do something with my opponent's bishop. I don't remember where my bishop wants to go, but we can park it here. You know, there's space for it. But eventually I'm going to push the bishop out of the way. Now, I should be able to castle. That's covered, that's covered. Yeah, I should be able to castle. I think I'm good here. Do I want to let this happen? Now, let's go ahead and push our h6. I hate pushing the h6 early. It feels like a know-nothing move, like a blah move, but I don't want to see any infiltrations, so I'm just going to let that go. Yeah, let's go ahead and castle. I'm pretty sure my opponent's going to want to rotate their knight around. Maybe I could have done something. Okay. So now we have some decisions to make. What do we want to do with this bishop? Do we want to hold it, or do we want to trade it? Trading it now opens up my opponent's file. We'll let our opponent take if they want to. He was nervous about me coming up this way, so he pushed his outside h-pawn. I say he, my opponent, they, whoever they are. I might bring my bishop all the way down. I'm not certain. I don't know what I'm going to do with this bishop, to be honest with you. Part of me wants to hold on to it. Now my opponent has 1-2 defenders in that square. I have 1-2 defenders in that square. I could... see if we can eliminate one of my opponent's bishops. If he takes, I'm going to go for the fork, right? So if he takes with either with the knight, then I'm going for the fork. If he takes with the bishop, well, let's calculate. Where can this knight go? Well, the knight can go back, and that's pretty much it. So if he takes with the bishop, we can drive the knight back, but maybe the knight wants to come around here anyway. I'm not certain. So these are the positions where I'm just staring at him, just trying to decide what my opponent could do. Okay, so he takes with the bishop, and I didn't make a decision on what I want to do. I'm just going to go ahead and take with the pawn, hold on to my bishop. Now it does mean my bishop is kind of locked up a little bit behind this pawn. I'm not in love with it. I'm not so worried about the doubled pawns. Whatever, we can make that work one way or another. The challenge I'm going to be facing right now is I don't see any way of activating this bishop again. Okay, so this is a mistake because 2 and 2. I thought I had a third defender there for some reason, but I guess I don't. Now, where can this knight go? Because I'm wondering what happens if I just push a pawn. Is that bad? I'm basically encouraging my opponent to grab here. Which activates my queen. I'm not certain. I don't like this move either because now I've blocked my other bishop. So, we'll see where this goes. I mean, technically my dark square bishop can rotate through. My light square bishop can get activated this way, so I'm not hating on any of it. I missed that. I needed to defend this square. My opponent's gonna push, and I'm gonna lose a pawn in the process. Yeah, because he has 2 defenders in that square, and I only have the 1. Well, I guess I do have 2. Yeah, if he pushes again, I can grab back and open up my F file and put some pressure along the open F file, or it'd be the semi-open F file, I guess. But now we have plenty of time. We've transitioned through the opening. We're definitely in a mid game now, so we're looking for tactics, keeping an eye out. Our position is not great. I'm not in love with my position. My pawn structure is kind of funky. I don't have a plan. I guess my plan is going to be basically rotate my bishop around. I'd really like to see this open up now that I'm thinking about it. That F file would be really nice. In fact, when I move so this is defended temporarily, but capturing here opens up my bishop, which is what I want to do. So I'm okay with that. So now the bishop is alive. Just looking for tactics. I don't see any. I would kind of like to push, all the way up, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. It unpins us so that if this should become a problem, we're ready for it. I drop a... No, I don't drop a pawn. Yes, I do drop a pawn on this line. Okay, so let me think about this for a moment. I think I have to... But then he pushes past. I really would like my rook to be open. So this is what I'm looking forward to. If he pushes past, then I can take. Yeah. So now we have to move our queen somewhere. I have to be careful that I don't get myself trapped. Because if I push up, for instance, if I push up, then he pushes a pawn. Ah, he can't push up, nope, because that is defended. Then where does my queen go? Queen's trapped. So we can't do that. We have to retreat with the queen, which I didn't want to do, but we have to retreat with the queen. I really don't want to retreat with my queen though, but I have to. I have to retreat with the queen. But now my opponent is coming for an attack. If he takes en passant, let me think this through. If he takes en passant, I take with check. He simply defends check or defends check. I take, and then he comes down. I have to slide over. And then he drops, and then I go up. I don't want to have to do that. That's an ugly move. It's an ugly move. I think I'm losing this one, guys. I think I'm losing. My opponent has the attack. My bishops are, look at these bishops. Look at them. They're nothing. They just did not end up anywhere at all where I wanted them. I guess the only benefit now is I might be able to trade off queens, and I might be able to force an endgame. I am a little low on time, but I'm suspecting my opponent's probably going to bring more pieces into the attack. Heck, he can even just start pushing. Yeah. So I have to do something like this now. Takes, takes, takes. I have to go here to defend. But now I don't even have access to this. Yeah, this is gonna get ugly real quick. Now I think I can go en passant, because takes, and then I can take with the queen. And I'm attacking the, But my opponent has done this correctly. I mean, he's got all of his heavy hitter pieces coming into the attack. He's got two attackers here. I need a second defender here, and I don't have it. If I push 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Because this doesn't come with check. Yeah, I don't know if I have enough here, guys. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this one out. My opponent's playing a really tough game. I've got 2 pieces that are essentially completely out of the game. My opponent has 1 piece. All he has to do is bring it in. Doesn't even need to right now. He's already won a pawn. I can't do anything to stop that. I could trade my queen for these 2, but I still think I'm in trouble. That's why I had to move the king, because I didn't want that to come with check. Helping to defend here. I don't have enough on this, but I might be able to squeeze out somehow. Yeah, I just don't think there's enough here, and I don't have nearly enough time. Yeah, no, well, it happens. Now, my opponent should not trade this rook. My opponent should basically do that. Oh, because he can take with check. He didn't take with check. Okay. So now he's looking for a discovered check. If he takes here, I should be okay. But he's still going to be looking for that discovered check. And that is not at all the one I anticipated. Where does he want to go next? Of all the places he could have gone, why there? So, what am I missing, y'all? What did I miss? I'm gonna give back the exchange. And I am gonna consolidate my pieces here. He can push. I can get it covered. Just gonna start consolidating, and we might be able to hold this. I need to rotate my king around to stop these. He's got 3 involved here. Yeah, just want to blockade. He can come back. But I think it's pretty soon I'm going to start executing expanding on my side of the board. As long as I get my bishop here, I can cover the promotion square. I might even be able to, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I might even be able to isolate this pawn. Now, let's go. So this is a blockaded pawn. It's not going anywhere. I'm on a dark square. My opponent does have 2 defenders. I have 2 attackers, so I can't take it yet. I could stick a rook here. And I might just do that, actually. You know what? I might just do that. If he takes, then I can take. He definitely has the advantage right now. We could trade bishops. I think that's a miscalculation. I think he can take. And then, yeah, we trade bishops. I'm going to throw a check in and get over here. Actually, I wonder if that should have been here. This is the kind of stuff I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know these end games very well. Yeah, I got to get my connected pass pawns over here. I got to get these stopped. The good news is I will be able to get into this. Oh no, if he takes this way, I'm screwed. If he takes this way, yeah, I am screwed. Now he can take and start gobbling up this way. Ah, he went that way. Good. Nope, then he can come here. If he pushes, I can take. That's the good news. He's got to come rook down. And then I have to decide where this king goes. Does it go here? No, because now he gets the... He's going to push down, but I can take with check, at least. He has to come down this way. I got to get my rook underneath. Is that checkmate? No, because I can still come down. The good news is having the increment on there has kept me in this game. Down, up, down. I gotta come down. Yeah, my rook has got to get defensive now. He's trying to calculate, they are trying to calculate how to get the win, and I think pushing the rook down is the best option, because it gets the passed pawn all the way to h7. If they push here, then I can, these are all covered, I can drop, they push here, I have to drop down to one of these two. It's really close to checkmate. Oh, man. He is outside the queening square. I queen first. Then he queens. But he resigns. Wow. 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 What a mistake. One mistake my opponent played. I guarantee when we look at the analysis, my opponent was ahead this whole game. One little tiny mistake right there at the end. And even then, this is not going to be easy to hold, guys. My opponent's next move, if we go to the analysis, my opponent's next move is to queen their own pawn. And then what? Right? And then what? Now, I have a move. I guess I could do something like this. Put my opponent in check. Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is the danger of having two queens on the board. And so if we back up here, yeah, this is not. Oh, well, I could have just taken. Ha. Whoops. That's what happens when you get tunnel vision. Yeah, I should have just taken. Duh, Joe. But anyway, tunnel vision. I grabbed a queen. Yeah, look at that. From guaranteed checkmate to an even, and my opponent should not have resigned at all, because he gets a queen. And notice neither one of us are in check. Okay, so yeah, this is probably the best move here. And then if he goes after, and then you can start in with a series of checks. And then I'm too far away. So yeah, this is a draw. Wow, well, we played ourselves into a draw. I cannot believe, I can't believe I dropped that. That's a guaranteed win right there. Well, we got the win. We should not have. All right, so opening up, the standard Ruy Lopez went for the Morphy defense. The Morphy defense here. The idea being that if my opponent takes, we take away from the center. This is not a free pawn because we then attack both, right? And then the opponent can only save one, so they typically save the knight. We check. Typically they block, and then we trade queens. Now nobody's developed, right? White has a little bit of development, but white can't castle, so the game proceeds, but it is an interesting game. But in this case, my opponent retreated. I then continued with the Morphy defense. You notice there's a ton of games in these lines. My opponent went slightly off script here, but it is the second most common move. And then bishop c5 is the third most. The d6 straight away is interesting, because I would imagine that you'd want to get your bishop out, but oh well. But an even-ish position at this point in time, drive the bishop away, and then, yeah, that's a slow move, unnecessary slow move. Yeah, the engine wants me to trade here. I decided to just keep developing. Yeah, this is where things just did not go the way I wanted it to, because I started... Definitely should have taken with the bishop, and I think next time I play this, I'm taking with the bishop, because this pawn blocking in my dark square bishop became a liability. It became more of a pain than it was worth. The engine says take with either one is fine, but in practice, this turned out to be a pain in the neck. The engine wants me to go ahead and make a trade. Yeah, my light square bishop, trading that off would have been a good idea. Take, 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 take. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Nice evenish position. The engine really hates that bishop move. Wow, I'm surprised. And And then here's where the advantage completely swings to my opponent's favor. I should have just taken, given them access. Oh, it's a fork, though. Alright, so, yeah, the engine really dislikes it. But my opponent didn't take advantage and continued pushing, and I traded there, and that E-pawn became a liability. It became, no bueno. See, I was worried about coming over here because I didn't know, like, as this knight develops somewhere, you know. But I guess then we just trade queens. And then my opponent had this really strong attack, and really, yeah, there's really only one move that keeps me in the game, g6. We found it. That's good. I'm glad we found that. We correctly predicted what our opponent was going to do. Yeah, I should have busted this open now instead of this queen move. Wow, what a horrible move that was. Wow. Yeah, in fact, the engine says, just retreat, go back to where you were. Yeah, we've lost this game. I mean, we really did lose this game. The engine recommends go ahead and trading away the queen for the rook and the knight. It's not the end of the world there. We at least found the move that prevents us from being checkmated on the spot, right? Yeah, and I'm really surprised my opponent didn't take with check, because then that really is forcing. That really limits what you can do. And then of all the knight moves, this one, yeah, I don't get it. Here has an attack on both my undefended bishop and my undefended rook. I have to go back, and my opponent has attacks on whatever they want. Of all the squares to put this knight, I don't think any of them, I think at least this gives you a pawn. You know, man, I don't know what my opponent's plan was there, and I'm mad for my opponent. They played such a good game right up until that moment. And then blam, threw the whole thing away, unfortunately. And then, yeah, here, allowed me to trade more material off, but kept me in the game. In fact, I have an advantage at this point in time. Yeah, so I saw this rook lift. I should have gone for it because I didn't realize, I didn't even think about it, but after this bishop moves, I have access to 2 key pawns, and my opponent can't defend either of them. Or both of them, I should say. Yeah, I don't know what this king move was. And then I should not have put my king on a light square. That was dumb. Should have just put it on the dark square. Allowed my opponent bishop to come back. But yeah, and then we continue expanding on the queen side. Get our rook lift in. My opponent did not take here, which was a surprise. I debated on taking. I mean, I guess I'm up a whole piece there. I don't know why I didn't. Yeah, I gave back some advantage here. Yeah, I gave back way too much advantage here. I should have just taken it. I overthought and confused myself. Yeah, taking here basically, taking here gives up the bishop for a pawn. Oh, it's defended. It doesn't give up the bishop. Oh, it's defended. Guys, it's defended. I knew I was going to drop the bishop, right? Captures. So I thought, well, I can grab here, my opponent grabs back, and then I grab, and at least I get a free pawn out of it. It's defended. It's defended. The opponent can't take back. I can't believe I missed that. And then, yeah, I'm giving too much back to my opponent. Initiative back to my opponent, yeah. He's got connected passed pawns. Yeah, my opponent won this game. I mean, hats off to my opponent. Played a brilliant game. Absolutely got me. And then, unfortunately, this is a huge mistake. This is a huge mistake because it gives up control of these 2 pawns, and my pawns are outside, right? It forces the king, because if I grab, now, unless my opponent does something like this, yeah, no, not even. There's nothing they could do. It just, giving up this rook, the way my opponent did, allowed me to trade, and now the king is off course, and I have a passed pawn, and I just push passed pawn. Yeah, I should have just stuck my king up here and prevented my opponent's king from getting there. Allowing my opponent to get a protected and push is the only thing that, yeah, that was a mistake on my part. And this was a dumb mistake. But we got there, and then my opponent should have kept playing because that was a draw. But mistakes, mistakes, mistakes. And unfortunately, my opponent did not take advantage of my mistakes right there at the end. He made one mistake, and it cost him the game. But he really should have won this game. 100% my opponent. Hats off to them. They should have won it. We got lucky, but we used the skills that we've learned, right? We've used those skills to make sure that when we get those opportunities, we can pounce on them. When we run into time trouble, because I've been playing, you know, I was playing at 1 minute. How many moves? Yeah, way back here. 7 minutes, 6, oops. Yeah, I was under 2 minutes. Right here, from move 25, yeah, move 25, I go under 2 minutes. This game lasted 60 moves. And from move 25, I was under a minute. Whereas my opponent had all the time in the world. Yeah, 5 minutes here. When I was under a minute, when I was under 2 minutes, my opponent had 6. We only start with 10. So my opponent had all the time in the world, and I didn't, and I was making quick moves, and we still got there in the end. I made a huge blunder here, huge blunder, obviously. And then that's unstoppable, but oh well. Thanks for watching. That's why we play the games, right? That's why we go for it, and that's why we do it, because they are interesting, they are exciting, and they get your heart racing, and maybe you get lucky, right? You play on, even though you know the game is lost, you play on, you try to learn from your mistakes, you try to spot tactics that maybe your opponent doesn't see, and then maybe when you're in those positions, you'll spot those tactics, and you'll not let someone, when you have a stranglehold on them, you'll not let them squeeze away like I did in this case. So thank you for the game for my opponent. You should have won it 100%, and we snookered that one. So thanks so much for sticking around, guys. I appreciate you guys. This was fun. Talk to you later. Bye.